My goodness, the backlash against DiJonai Carrington is so intense right now. Did she just cross a line that the WNBA can no longer afford to overlook? This isn't just a case of tough defense or gritty play. It's a full-blown pattern of dirty moves that now includes one of the most outrageous fouls the league has ever seen. Carrington isn't just on a slippery slope. She's face first skiing down it. She has done things this season that will disqualify her from MMA fights, will result in her being disqualified from MMA fights. It is a bad look for the league that the referees are ignoring something that could potentially disqualify them from an MMA fight at every game. If she had been in the octagon, this would have resulted in her being disqualified. The most recent incident has fans demanding something far more serious than a fine. We're talking suspension, we're talking permanent ban territory. The most outrageous part is that it's actually in the rules. The commissioner will decide whether to enforce it. We'll go into more detail later. If you think Dane deserves a ban, please leave a comment or the eye poker down below. Let's rewind for a moment. Remember when she almost took down her own teammate, Paige Beckers, with a reckless hit that had coaches holding their breath? Or how about that cheap shot on Jessica Shepard that was borderline flagrant? Then Caitlin Clark, a rising rookie and already the face of the Indiana Fever, took a swipe to the eye from none other than Carrington herself. The footage is brutal, and it's hard to deny. It's beginning to feel more like WWE auditions than basketball. Here's where the red flags start to fly. DiJonai Carrington has now accrued 3 official flagrant fouls in just 1 month, not including the 2 additional uncalled fouls that fans and analysts agree were obviously just as bad. At this point, the math tells the story. This isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern. In addition, she has been hit in the eye, hit in the head, and yanked the ball in 3 of her last 5 games. About it, or better yet, will they take any action at all? I mean, not only is the WNBA covering for players like this, but they're also engaging in these egregious on-court behaviors that aren't physical play. They're dirty play with a big fat D. Some of these players wouldn't even be aware of that, but whatever. Then, when you call out the player starts attacking fans. The league has a rule that says that if you commit too many infractions, you will be suspended automatically, but we've already had enough. Territory. Player safety is supposed to be sacred. If the WNBA wants to increase its viewership and ensure that stars like Caitlin Clark are safe, they must demonstrate that there are real consequences for reckless behavior. However, up until now, Carrington has been getting away with little more than side-eye and silence. If she had had an extension, there would have been no way that that was not premeditated and pre-planned. She looked up and said, oh, look at that ponytail. Yeah, I mean, let me yank. Let's keep it real. Let's start with a foul that finally blew the lid off this situation. The replays were unmistakable. In the third quarter of a heated game between the Dallas Wings and the Los Angeles Sparks, Carrington grabbed Sarah Ashley Barker by the hair and threw her to the ground like it was tug-of-war recess at elementary school. The foul was so obvious that even the slow-motion replay looked aggressive. Here we are today, OJ and DJ, and what did the referees call it? A loose ball foul, not a flagrant, not even a technical, just a little slap on the wrist as if nothing had occurred. Commentators were shocked. The Brick Center posted the video with a caption that captured the spirit of the moment. How was this not an ejection? But I think a referee knowingly allowing and turning a blind eye to players putting other players in danger should never be allowed again. I think this is just like the Kennedy Carter tip check last year. If those were extensions, they'd be on the hardwood right now, one analyst joked. The fans' reaction was incredible on Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, and every corner of the internet was screaming. The radio caller said it best. This isn't hustle. This is someone treating the court like a back alley. This is dangerous, and it can't be allowed to continue. It's not just about the hair pull. People started pulling receipts, bringing up the elbows, late hits, and undercuts. Carrington had turned into a walking highlight reel of dubious behavior. Look, I don't support fighting on the court, but this team has a real problem. This league has a real problem getting their own teammates back. It feels like so many of these players are out for themselves, and it's crazy plays, not the enjoyable ones, but the shady ones that leave supporters wondering why hasn't the league intervened yet. Criticism justified. Get her off the court. Kathy Engelberg, you are the issue because you appear to believe that this type of play is acceptable, not only for this play, but for many others as well. You should be held responsible when someone is seriously hurt, and it is inevitable because Carrington is careless. And there is a ton of video that demonstrates this. This leads us to the true problem, which is the WNBA Silence. And Carrington leads the league in egregious fouls in just 1 month. That's not just a statistic, that's a headline. But the league hasn't said a word, issued a statement, imposed a fine, or suspended anyone. It's as if they're hoping that if they act unconcerned, it will go away. DiJonai Carrington, you are the dirtiest dirtbag of them all. We could even make it into a song, but that won't work, especially with Caitlin Clark on the receiving end. Clark is the face of the new generation, and she's being elbowed, shoved, and swiped around like she wandered into the wrong gym. Dane Carrington has been on a crime spree, robbing the WNBA, blindly masquerading as a professional basketball player when in reality, she is just a reckless athlete who understands the concept of basketball. The narrative is changing and fans are no longer just angry at Carrington. They are beginning to question the league's integrity. Can you really promote a no room for hate campaign when you allow this kind of conduct to go unchecked? Is this the example you want to set for the next generation of young women watching? It's obvious that this isn't about style anymore. It's about safety. If the league doesn't take action soon, the only people who will be banned are the fans who choose not to watch. She grabbed onto something, realized it was her hair, and yanked it. She went back down faster as soon as she grabbed the hair. Come on, what stage does the WNBA have to step in? Because the WNBA rescinding technical fails on a player who should already be suspended. DiJonai Carrington has committed 4 egregious. Let's go back to one of the most disturbing moments from the previous season. It still has fans furious and analysts scratching their heads. Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's brightest rising star, was bringing the ball up the court when Dane Carrington suddenly reached in and swiped right across her face. The cameras captured everything. Her fingers grazed Clark's eye in a way that left no doubt about the contact. Clark instantly winced and grabbed her face. This moment didn't just end the game, it stopped everyone in their tracks because everyone else witnessed it. Angle, I'm calling her in and I'm telling her that I need answers. This wasn't your normal hard foul or hustle play gone wrong. Instead, it was a direct hit to the eye of the league's most talked about player. Sports channels and online clips slowed the replay down, frame by frame, highlighting the contact and the stretch of Carrington's hand and Clark's shocked reaction, and caused an instant uproar. And the argument wasn't whether it happened, but rather whether it was intentional and what kind of penalty, if any, should be imposed. As an aside, I still think DiJonai Carrington tried to strike Caitlin Clark in the head. Carrington attempted to dismiss it as a regrettable instance of defensive ferocity, but the fans weren't buying it. The slow motion replays, the precise hand placement, and the timing all painted a very different picture. When you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye? If not, could you please explain what happened during that play? I simply don't understand why I would intend to hit someone in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. However, I didn't know I hit her. I was attempting to make a play with the ball. I guess I went ahead and hit her, so it's obviously never intentional. That's not even like the kind of player I am. Social media was ablaze with outrage, with people calling it a reckless and dangerous play everywhere you looked. The intent was evident in the video, and many viewers saw it clearly. Now you have regular NBA fans talking about DiJonai Carrington, and Caitlin Clark didn't say anything as usual. Instead, she remained silent and let her game speak for itself. That eye poke was just the latest in a series of dangerous encounters, and fans were tired of watching it get ignored. Yes, this will be a better day. The timing couldn't have been more revealing. Clark's presence in the league has opened the doors to millions of new fans. She's bringing attention, ratings, and revenue. However, despite being the face of this surge, she's being physically targeted. For someone who is usually calm and unflappable, this shook her, and that's when people really started demanding action. Angle of it, I believe we'll be able to see how hard the foul is right here. She does get her in the face when she's coming down with her hand. Pretty soon after, video compilations of Carrington's past started to reappear. It wasn't just a bad night or a single incident of annoyance. It was a pattern. The story was no longer about a single fleeting infraction. It was about whether the WNBA was allowing a repeat offender. Analysts joined the chorus, asking difficult questions such as whether Clark, the league's biggest draw, could be attacked on the court. And it is a very relevant topic because now there are posts going viral in the general basketball world, and this type of stuff is just a bad look for the league. The WNBA remains silent about their commitment to player safety. Where were the statements, fines, and suspensions? The silence from the top only made the frustration louder. The conversation quickly shifted, and it wasn't just Carrington who was under fire. It was the leadership, Kathy Angelbert, specifically her refusal to directly address Carrington's behavior. Had racked up 3 confirmed flagrant fouls in the matter of weeks, and by some accounts, 2 more that should have been flagged. Yet no public statement, fine, or suspension was made. Everything continued as usual. Fans noticed, and they began criticizing Angelberg, accusing her of favoring certain players over following the rules that are supposed to protect everyone. Angelberg, you are the issue because you appear to believe that this type of play is acceptable not only for this play, but for many others. You should be held accountable when someone is gravely injured, and that's what's going to happen.